Good morning, Sac City. Welcome into another edition of the Pigskins and Pancakes fantasy show live here on our Sunday mornings. It is week 10 fantasy. Our fantasy matchups are upon us. We've already got fantasy action going on right now between the Bucks and the Seattle Seahawks. Lots of fantasy relevant players in these two matchups. We've got a lot to cover today. We've got injuries. We've got the injuries are probably this is probably one of the biggest injury shows on a fantasy Sunday we've had in the history of our show. We're going to get into that from the jump. We've also got start sits. We've got a whole bunch. We've got start sits. We've got DFS. We've got it all. Come bring your fantasy questions to us. Drop them in the comments. We were here to help you win your matchups. Aaron, lots of injury news to get into, so let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. First of all, even Facebook's injured, man. The Facebook stream wasn't working this morning. We're not sure if we're going on there. Hopefully we are. Shout us out in the chat if you're on Facebook. But a lot of injuries to talk about. Obviously, the biggest one all week, Josh Allen, active for the Buffalo Bills. This always scares me a little bit because they wasn't seen warming up earlier. So is this one of those situations where they wait till the last second and say, oh, we're not going to play Josh Allen. He's not going to start. So just keep an eye out for that as we head towards the 1 o'clock hour. But Josh Allen is active. Ryan Tannehill is active and expects to play. Brandon Cooks back for the Texans. He was stripped of his captain tag, but he's back active. Again, another situation I'm a little bit concerned about playing time there. Do they actually play him as much as we expect? They stripped his captain's tag. There could be a limited of snaps there, if at all. Keep an eye out for that. Nico Collins is also back for the Texans. So they got a couple of wide receivers coming back to help them. And, of course, Jonathan Taylor. Deion Jackson's not active. Jonathan Taylor is active, and he should receive the bulk of the carries today. I expect a big day from Jonathan Taylor.
Let's talk about Josh Allen for a second here. I know we're going to talk about this is what needs to be talked about is Josh Allen. There's tons of fantasy owners out there that are wondering what to do with Josh Allen. This situation, obviously, he's been battling that elbow injury all week. He has not practiced all week. He's active, but we're seeing Case Keenum throw the ball during warmups to number one wide receivers. Like, this reminds me so much of the Justin Herbert situation in week 3 when he was playing Jacksonville, when we were like, okay, is he starting? Is he not starting? They didn't announce him as a starter, but then he ends up starting, and then he has that type of day where it wasn't that great of a day, and you start him and you get burned. What do you do? What are you, Aaron, doing if you have Josh Allen?
Well, you have to start him if he's playing. Whether it's not a good day for Josh Allen or not, if Josh Allen's on the field, you're starting him. A couple of reasons. Number one, forget the UCL. His rushing ability alone is almost the value of a regular quarterback to get you double digits. I think that is important. He might run for a touchdown still. Maybe they do lean on the run a little bit more. Maybe they use him in the running game a little bit more. And there's no risk of further injuring that arm by running the football. Maybe some other injuries, but as far as running the football, there's no real risk there. So if he's on the field, you're starting him. The thing I would make sure you're doing is paying attention to right before kickoff, whenever you're allowed to set that lineup. If you hear any announcements that Josh Allen is not playing or that Case Keenum is starting, you're going to have to pull him out of your lineup. So make sure you have an alternative plan. If you have a super flex league, move him to the super flex position and then slide in one of your running backs or receivers that you have on your bench to go ahead and fill that void if it happens. And again, we'll give you any updates that we have going throughout this hour. As we get them, you'll get them, and then you can make your adjustments as needed. But if Josh Allen's on the field, you got to start Josh Allen.
Yeah, the world has gone into panic with what they're doing with Josh Allen because he was such a high investment quarterback for a lot of teams, and you do need to stay on top of it. Stay locked into the Sac City podcast for any news that comes up that we'll break on the show to help you win your matchups if you do own a Josh Allen. I wanted to throw out there that Ryan Tannehill is starting as well, and Treylon Burks is active for the Tennessee Titans. Not that you're starting Treylon Burks. You probably shouldn't start Treylon Burks this week, but just saying he's active. Ryan Tannehill's active.
It's funny you mentioned Treylon Burks because when I was doing my actives and I was re-ranking and I was going to re-rank my players, I was going to re-rank Treylon Burks in the top 24 because it's a light week. And then I realized they're playing Denver and he has Patrick Surtain. So I said, never mind.
Yeah, no, that I'm a Treylon Burks owner. in our league, I picked him up, had him stashed on my IR for a little bit, and I have him, and it's between Traylon Burks or Darius Slayton, and I'm easily going Darius Slayton because you can't trust. Like, it's great. Like, yeah, Tennessee needs the wide receiver help, but you're matched up against Patrick Surtain, and I'm not. There's no point in risking that. I'd rather him have a great day on my bench than risk having him in my lineup. Let's turn our attention, though, to our inactives, Aaron. Let's go.
Yeah, big time inactive list here. I list two players, obviously, on the defensive side of the football first, because you're talking about Tennessee's Christian Fulton, who's been arguably their best defensive back this year, and then Amani Hooker. So some back end losses that already have a back end that struggles. Going against Denver, I think this boosts the value of a Jerry Jeudy and a Cortland Sutton. For whatever reason, I have a feeling that Denver's offense has a nice day here today. They've had some time off. Maybe they can get some things going. So those are big losses for Tennessee. Look for those wide receivers to get a boost in my rankings. Also, Tre'Davious White. I think it's still notable that he is not active today. He's still working his way back from that devastating knee injury from last season. I think that helps the Minnesota offense. You talk about Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen maybe can slide in there. Then a couple of wide receivers, obviously Josh Reynolds, Marquez Callaway. They have been big parts to this offense just because of the lack of depth they have. Notable names if you were trying to stream those guys. Marshawn Lattimore. This could be big for Pittsburgh's offense, Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. And then I think Mecole Hardman with the Kansas City Chiefs, we need to talk about, because Kadarius Toney might get more playing time. I think he fits this role of what Mecole Hardman likes to do and what they like to do with him. But then this also means fire up Juju, because I think Juju's going to have a nice day here again. He's been pretty consistent lately. I think that continues today. And then disappointing David Njoku. He did come back. He was able to come back off of IR, but they weren't able to activate him for this game. He's still working his way back. Last week, I thought Harrison Bryant might do something. He didn't. It looks like maybe you look for Donovan Peoples-Jones to be that secondary piece in Cleveland against Miami today.
Yeah, I like the Donovan Peoples-Jones play. I know we're going to talk about him a little bit more in just a few moments, but yeah, it's a great play to throw in Donovan Peoples-Jones with David Njoku now out. That's our injury report, Aaron. Every week we release your rankings on Tuesdays. Obviously, things change. We go through some ups and some downs. Let's go into our fantasy stock report. With that being said, we now bring on your boy AJ Johnson to help us break down these risers and fallers in Aaron's rankings. We've got a lot to talk about again with the injuries impacting players. And Aaron, I'm going to be honest, I've centered this chat pretty much around the impact of injuries from quarterbacks, from running backs, everything. And that's it for this show. And we're starting with the running backs here because you've got a lot of movers and a lot of risers and a lot of fallers with your running backs who have been injured, who are playing, who have a lot of question marks surrounding them. Jonathan Taylor wasn't ranked on Tuesday. He is active. He bumps up all the way to 7. DeAndre Swift had some injury concerns. He was 20. Now he's 13. Aaron Jones, injury concerns as well. He's 15 now. Those 3 players, biggest risers in your running back groups. Which one are you most confident can return to form from Jump Street?
Yeah, it's got to be Jonathan Taylor. I think when you lose Deion Jackson, who's inactive now, all you have behind him is Zach Moss. Who knows what that running back room really looks like? I think the confidence that the Colts have in Jonathan Taylor being healthy speaks volume. I think he sees a full workload today. I like the matchup against the Raiders. I know the Raiders aren't the worst, but they're also not the best. And you want to rely on that running game. Look, we're talking about a team that offensively was just unable to move the ball last week. They had -2 yards midway through the second quarter. They hadn't completed a pass. It was pretty bad. I think you get your best offensive player back. You get him involved heavily. And if the ankle's healthy, then Jonathan Taylor is fine. Like I had mentioned in my trade stuff before, I said, go get Jonathan Taylor because I think that he could have a huge impact down the stretch. He was still averaging 5 yards a carry in the limited role that he was playing while he was playing hurt. I don't think that changes today. I think that he's able to go ahead and gain some yardage. I think he can find his way into the end zone. And again, you have to rely on a guy that you invested heavily in, whether you traded for him, whether you drafted for him. You pretty much went into this year thinking Jonathan Taylor was going to be my workhorse. He was going to be the one that I could count on each and every week. And if you're in a situation now, you can't afford to just, you know what, I'm going to wait a week on him. No, go put him in your lineup now. And then you just live with the results. And I think today the results will be in your favor. So continue to play with Jonathan Taylor, and I think he'll be good moving forward.
Yeah, it's hard to go away from Jonathan Taylor when he's healthy. He's got the potential to just absolutely go off, and especially with this new look Indianapolis Colts. AJ, you actually mentioned on the show that this may be a Jonathan Taylor type of day with Jeff Saturday coming in. He's a trenches type of guy. He comes in and utilizes Jonathan Taylor a little bit more. But let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott and really Tony Pollard. In your rankings on Tuesday, Aaron, you had Zeke, Tony Pollard back-to-back. I believe it was like 16, 17, somewhere around that range for Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. AJ, I'm going to you for this one. Zeke goes from 17 to 24. We're not quite sure what his role is going to be in this offense if he plays for the Cowboys. Tony Pollard is there. Obviously, he's been impactful from time to time. What do you make of this Dallas Cowboys backfield in terms of fantasy today?
Yeah, well, about 20 minutes ago, Mike McCarthy said he does not expect Ezekiel Elliott to play today. Now, granted, we're witnessing probably a great smoke screen in Buffalo. This could be another one in Dallas today. But as of right now, the word is Ezekiel Elliott is probably not going to play today. If that's the case, I think we see a lot of what we saw with Tony Pollard against Chicago. This Green Bay defense that they're going up against, they're middle of the pack in just about everything they do. Granted, Jair Alexander's much better than middle of the pack, but as a unit, you're looking at Rashawn Gary being gone. You're looking at Devontae Campbell and those boys not being 100%. This run defense has been good some weeks, has been bad some weeks, and Tony Pollard has shown to be electric. Now, we can say what we will about the snap share and how much of a workload he can take, but clearly they are aware of that, and they manage him well enough that he can still be very productive on the ground. So with no Zeke, Tony Pollard's easily a fire up today, and you're happy about it. I don't know if he goes 3 touchdowns, 150 yards again, but I could see him getting in the end zone. I could see him getting over 100 yards, and you're very comfortable putting Tony Pollard in your lineup with no Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, I think Zeke at 24 is more of we just don't know if he's playing.
Right.
You notice he fell because I thought – look, Dallas is in a good position. Dallas doesn't have to rush Ezekiel Elliott back. They have a guy in Tony Pollard that you can play, you can use, and they got some backups that can spell him if there is concerns about his stamina or the amount of carries he's going to get. He says there's not. You know, we know what the coach said. But the fact of the matter is they're in a good position with Tony Pollard to where they don't have to rush Zeke back from a knee injury, where you can just let them rest. They're 6-2. They're right there in the division. They're one of the best teams in the NFC. If I'm Dallas and I have that bye week and I have an extra week against Green Bay here, and I feel like I don't really need him to in a game that do we really have to win this game on the road, maybe you just rest him. But I do think, like I said, if Zeke plays, I think you're going to get Zeke. So I don't think this is going to be a situation where if he plays, you're like, oh, man, he's only going to get 4 or 5 touches. I think you get, 12 to 15 touch Zeke like he has been this season. But we don't know. And the afternoon games start later. So if you're not deciding until the afternoon, you probably just go with the safe bet here and take somebody and put them in your lineup for the 1 o'clock games because you don't want to run the risk if you don't have anybody else in the afternoon where you're like, crap, all I got is Zeke. Now I got to go find some low-end player just to throw in there because he's not playing. So err on the side of caution and probably go elsewhere unless the options just you don't have any.
Yeah. This show will also be all about the updates of Josh Allen. We just got reports saying that Josh Allen just ran out of the tunnel with the rest of the offense for the warm-ups.
That would track if they're trying to make you believe one thing. That's how it looks. He's probably in the front of the pack, jogging at a nice speed.
It's hilarious because every Josh Allen owner is probably hanging on every report that comes out. Yeah, that comes out about him. So every little thing you're seeing, you're trying to look into it, you're trying to not to. But really, it comes down to what Aaron you said earlier, where around 12:55, that is when you should be dialed in, seeing what's being said. That's when it's most likely going to be out if Josh Allen's playing or not. So that just don't even stress yourself out until then.
It's funny too because people are like, oh well, they could rest Josh Allen and not have to worry about this injury. Like let him get some time because they're a good team. If they lose a game or two, like really doesn't matter in the long-term goal because their goal is Super Bowl. But I have the other mindset. I think it matters big time. They are right now the number 1 seed in the AFC. They lose another game. Kansas City now holds that spot. You don't want to travel if you're Buffalo. You want things to be at home. You want to make sure you maintain that home field advantage. I know it's early to be saying that, but I don't think this is a situation where we're like it's a Dallas where you can afford your player because you're probably not getting home field anyways to rest a game or two. I don't think that's the case here. I think if Josh Allen can play, he's going to go, and I think he's going to fight through this maybe all year. Maybe it's something he has to battle all year, but I think he does battle through it.
Yeah. Let's talk about the guys that are affected by these quarterback moves in the sense of Josh Allen. Aaron, you don't know if no one knows if Josh Allen's playing or not. It could be Case Keenum at the starting quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. You had Stephon Diggs jump from 7 to 4. I know there's other names on this list, but I want to talk about that one specifically because we have Sherm commenting in here. Don't lose your shit at me for bringing this comment up. If he asks, is it worth starting Diggs if Allen is out? Obviously, Diggs is in your lineup every day, every week, no matter who's at quarterback. Diggs is in your lineup. But Aaron, you almost have the exact opposite reaction to what most probably think when, okay, your starting wide receiver loses his starting quarterback, you normally bump him down. Stephon Diggs goes up 3 spots. What went into that?
The real reason he went up is because I thought Josh Allen would play. And the real reason he didn't, the other guys that are there went down is because I'm not sure about their quarterbacks. There have been questions all week about Matt Stafford and Kyler Murray. And so because those guys were ahead of Diggs. So I dropped them back, and in turn, Diggs moves up because I thought Josh Allen would play. Also, if Josh Allen doesn't play, when I look at backup quarterbacks in the league, if I'm going to name one that I know can get it done, it's Case Keenum. Let's not forget Case Keenum also played with Stephon Diggs. They have a relationship from Minnesota. Remember the miracle in Minneapolis? That was from Case Keenum to Stephon Diggs. These guys know each other. They're comfortable with each other. I'm not saying it's the same by any means because obviously Josh Allen is better than Case Keenum, but I'm comfortable going into today's game with Case Keenum saying, I think Stephon Diggs is Stephon Diggs still. So yes, you're right. No matter what you're starting him, the one thing I wouldn't temper my expectations. I expect Diggs to be Diggs, whether it's Josh Allen or Case Keenum. I can't say the same about Cooper Kupp, and I can't say the same about DeAndre Hopkins if it's not Kyler Murray and Matt Stafford, because those quarterbacks have chemistry with those guys, and then who are the quarterbacks behind them? We don't know. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, not good. Not good. And AJ, I'm going to go to you about DeAndre Hopkins in just a second, but another report comes out. Josh Allen is taking snaps from starting center Mitch Morse. Case Keenum taking snaps from backup center Greg Van Roten. So maybe more good news about Josh Allen starting. And Aaron, you gave your confidence, right? Not now obviously saying, okay, you expect Josh Allen to play, but you're giving more and more confidence to those owners of Josh Allen that we might really see him in starting for the Buffalo Bills today. AJ, go ahead.
So on the Josh Allen front thing, I did hear a nice little nugget this morning that kind of made sense. One of the things you look at when you talk about UCL injury is the volume. And if they're going to have him start, maybe having him in that first part of the warm-ups is too much if they intend to run their offense the way they want. So maybe not having him warm up earlier, knowing his confidence level in this offense, and then coming out here now just about 30 minutes before kickoff and then having him throw a little light throwing keeps that volume that they're looking for intact. So I think this part of it is a good sign for Josh Allen that he's now warming up with the starters. But again, still,
I also think that's the game plan, though. I think that's the game plan. Even if you play Josh Allen, don't expect him to throw the ball 50 times. Let's be realistic here. It's an elbow injury. So it's a lot of work on his arm. I expect Devin Singletary to run, and you notice
5 running backs active today.
They're going to run the football today against Minnesota, and Josh Allen's going to be one of those running backs. He will run the ball a little bit. So, By the way, Tom Brady's back, guys. 2 in a row. I told you. Tom Brady is back. They just won. Tom Brady's back. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing. I am just happy that the fantasy players I had in this game didn't do bad. That's really what matters here. But AJ, let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins here. Colt McCoy might be the starter. You can break down both. Cooper Kupp drops 3. Wait, that's not actually what it's.
Neither of them are drops. They're just even.
Yeah, I don't know why that did not update. But Cooper Kupp dropped. Stephon Diggs dropped in Aaron's rankings here. Cooper Kupp, John Wolford, DeAndre Hopkins, Colt McCoy. what are your thoughts about these two wide receivers heading into game time with new backup quarterbacks likely to this is the opposite of the Josh Allen situation. This is almost like we're leaning a lot more towards the backup starting in replacement of Stafford and Murray.
Yeah, when it comes to Cooper Kupp, I think the one thing you can think of is he may not hit 90 reception yards for the first time in a very long time. But other than that, who's the rest of their offense? Is today the day that Cam Akers wakes up because Matt Stafford isn't the quarterback? I don't think so. Is this the day that McVay magically trusts Darrell Henderson for 25 touches? I'm not quite sure. When it comes to Colt McCoy and DeAndre Hopkins, they've played a little bit together. I think DeAndre Hopkins is a safer bet. And I know what I just said about Cooper Kupp with that being said, but I think DeAndre Hopkins and Colt McCoy have played a little bit more together and has been more of that offense that you can see and can trust in as far as backup quarterbacks go with Colt McCoy, who's been in that system for a while. So DeAndre Hopkins to me feels still okay. I mean, you're not taking either of these guys out of your lineup because they could be just about your only offense on those teams, especially in the Rams case. So I still expect Cooper Kupp to see a bunch of targets. I still see him to make a decent amount of catches. I just don't know if they're deep passes. I don't know if they're the intermediate passes that you had in confidence with Matt Stafford. And then in the case of DeAndre Hopkins, I still think he and even maybe Rondale Moore still have a part of this offense that can be pretty reliable. Now, I don't think that what you're losing from Kyler Murray is the escapability and the rushing effect of the quarterback. I think you're going to see a smaller sample of what they want to do with the ball. The playbook shrinks a little bit, but I think Colt McCoy has enough of a grasp of this offense for them to still move forward and play relatively a decent offensive game.
AJ, answer this question here, because I know you had gone back and forth about Kirk Cousins in our next segment at a certain spot. Brissett or Cousins?
So I was thinking of sitting Cousins, but there's just so many injuries on the defensive side of the Buffalo Bills that I think it almost evens it out for Kirk Cousins. I think he's going to be right around where you see him, where you've seen him over the past couple of weeks, that's 16, 17 points per game. And then with Brissett against Miami's defense, while their secondary has been shaky offseason, I've seen them step up a little bit in the case of Javon Holland in that back end. If it's me with the complement of weapons that I have, I think I'm gonna go with Kirk Cousins. He looked really good with T.J. Hawkinson last week. Justin Jefferson still 100 yards in 5 of the last 6 games. That other game, he 98 yards. We know what Dalvin Cook can do on the running game and the reception game for Kirk Cousins. With the injuries that's battling Buffalo and all the question marks in their game plan this week, you might get a closer game, and Kirk Cousins may have to play a little bit more. I think I would go with Kirk Cousins over Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. That does it for our fantasy stock report. Again, a reminder to everybody, if you miss our ranking show on Tuesday, please go back and watch it. It is on our YouTube page at the Sack City Pod. Be sure you are tuning in, though, live at 10 a.m. Eastern time for Aaron's week-by-week rankings as he puts them out on Tuesdays. So check that out. Gentlemen, let's get into our starts and our sits. AJ, we were just talking about the quarterback position. You mentioned Kirk Cousins being one that you're considering sitting. What quarterback are you considering starting this week? Or that's not even the right way to format that question. Who is your start of the week at the quarterback position?
Oh, of the week. Well, that's just changes some things. The start of the week is probably going to be a top-notch, top-tier guy. But I was going with questionable people who you didn't know whether or not you wanted to start. And I'll give you a guy who I think you definitely should, and that's going to be Jimmy G. Listen, his game on the field isn't pretty, just like his face, but he makes sure to get them fantasy points. What was it? I think it's about 20 points in the last 4 matchups against defenses, and then you're playing against the San Francisco 49ers in this week. I'm sorry, against the Los Angeles Chargers in this game, who has been banged up in the secondary, and their defense hasn't shown up. Now, obviously, Asante Samuel and Derwin James are fantastic players, and they can hold it down with the two of them. But Jimmy G has a bevy of weapons around him. You get Deebo Samuel back. They're off of a bye. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, just any way he wants to throw the ball, use the ball, and deploy his weapons, he's going to be able to. So I look forward to having Jimmy G, who's been a very, very capable fantasy starter, keeping that trend going this week against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Ew. I'm sorry. Just ew. Jimmy Garoppolo. No, thank you. I'm going to go Jared Goff here against Chicago. We talked about that Chicago pass defense early in the season. Well, they haven't been that great lately. We watched Dallas go up and down the field on them. We watched Chicago go up and down the field on them. I think Detroit has a nice day here. You get DeAndre Swift more healthy now. You get Amon-Ra St. Brown back. I think this is a game, one of those games where you're going to get a Jared Goff 2 or 3 touchdown day, probably close to 300 yards. I really like this being a high-scoring game, even if they can't get into the end zone a whole lot. I think Detroit has some success moving the ball. There is nothing I trust more than Jared Goff when everybody is sour on Jared Goff. So take Jared Goff. By the way, Jimmy G hasn't had one 20-point game this year, let alone.
That is incorrect.
Oh,
that is
boy.
Incorrect.
No, it's not. He hasn't had one 20-point game this year at all. Not one.
I am looking at him right now at 21.
Week 1, 0. Week 2, 16. Week 3, 9. Week 4, 13, 18, 18, 17, and 17. I don't know what you're looking at, but you need to check your resources. And I don't know what league you're playing
I apologize for sleeper.
Look in our league. It clearly says it in order. 0 20-point games. Anyways, let's help this guy.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that instead of talking about Jimmy Garoppolo and Jared Goff. This is just terrible.
JG's to start this week. JG's to start this week.
JG's to start. JG's on deck. Both disgusting names to say out of your mouth, but good fantasy options this week. Fame Tiger asks, OMG, help me, please help this man.
Please help me.
He's got a running back problem. He says, do I start David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, James Conner, or Jeff Wilson Jr.? It's a PPR league, and you only can pick one, Aaron.
Yeah, I think this is easy in the sense I think it's either Montgomery or Herbert. The problem is they're on the same team. Yeah. And what we've seen over the past few weeks is Montgomery hasn't been as effective, whereas it's almost, I don't want to say it's the Zeke Pollard situation, but it almost is. However, I am about volume. I am about opportunity, and I'm about those opportunities. Detroit is ranked in the bottom half. I believe they're 5th worst against the run or against the running back position in fantasy, allowing so many points per game. I lean Montgomery. I think he's still playing 70% of the snaps. Detroit's allowing 24 points per game to the running back position. I lean Montgomery here, and I think it's a pretty easy choice for me just because of the snap percentage. I'm staying away from Connor, especially with the quarterback situation, and I'm staying away from Jeff Wilson Jr. because it could be a Raheem Mostert week. You just never know.
Yeah. This might be an easy answer for one A.J. Johnson, is it not? Some of those stats might have been in your back pocket, huh?
I mean, it's a possibility. I could have been thinking about the way that Montgomery hasn't really been doing what you needed him to, but this matchup is just too good. The Detroit Lions just allow so much to the running game, and I think you're going to see everybody who can run the ball on the Bears get a piece of the pie today, including Justin Fields, included Khalil Herbert, including Montgomery. So, and Montgomery, I think, is going to have a better chance to fall into the end zone. So, I agree. It's in that Chicago backfield is where you want to go. And honestly, just pick your happy spot. If you feel better with Khalil Herbert, go ahead. You feel better with Montgomery, go ahead.
Aaron, your sit quarterback of the week might actually play into Fame Tiger's question that he just dropped between asking Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence starting this week. What do you think about Justin Herbert this week?
Yeah, he is my sit quarterback. It's tough because obviously with all the buys, we're not sure about Kyler Murray. We're not sure about Matt Stafford. Josh Allen's up in the air. But Justin Herbert hasn't been as effective. I don't want to say be very effective. Hasn't been as effective lately. Things in that offense haven't seemed right. 13 points a week ago. He had a single-digit 9-point game before that, 14 points before that. He did have a nice game against Seattle, but that was a lot of volume. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. I have serious concerns about Justin Herbert in this offense. The question is, do you start him over somebody like, he's asking, Trevor Lawrence? That's tough. It's tough. You don't usually want to sit guys like Justin Herbert just because of the amount of opportunities, plus the checkdowns to Austin Eckler, which Austin Eckler can go out and make plays right after the catch, get into the end zone, and there create some fantasy points for Justin Herbert. I probably still lean Herbert here, to be honest. I know it's a tough matchup. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a lot, but for me, I still think I lean him a little bit higher than Lawrence. If you started Lawrence over him, I would not be mad at you. I would not. I do think Trevor Lawrence is going to have to throw the ball today. I just at Kansas City, I just think that's a tough matchup for Trevor. He might throw 3 picks today. Like I lean Herbert. I think he has more of a track record. So if you need something safe, take Justin Herbert. That's really what I'm saying. I think you can guarantee Justin Herbert's going to be 14, 15 points, even on a bad day, with still the upside to go bigger if he has a huge day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are welcome, Fame Tiger. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are live every Sunday morning at noon, giving you your fantasy advice, as well as being live every day throughout the week, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, giving you all of the football content that you need. So be sure to subscribe. AJ, who's your quarterback sit of the week?
My quarterback sit of the week was also Justin Herbert. We were doubling down on that one because it hasn't looked great for him. And without his top players, I get it. Austin Eckler's fantastic. He's reclaimed his top spot around the running backs of the elite status in this league. But when it's just him and the hopes of Josh Palmer and Michael Bandy, and I don't think Gerald Everett will have that great of a game today. The 49ers are great against tight ends.
Disrespectful. You said Michael Bandy before DeAndre Carter.
How about saying, isn't there a guy named DeAndre Carter?
That's absolutely dislusreful.
Hey, listen. Well, maybe if you stepped up some more, remember his name.
Shout out DeAndre Carter from my neck of the woods. Out Cali, worked with Playmakers Elite in California, Sacramento, California. If a man is from Bainbridge, Georgia, or from somewhere in California close to where he's from, he is going to say it. It's almost as guaranteed as me bringing up someone from my fantasy team in a question. Not close to me, from my neck of the woods, like down the street where I grew up. Yeah.
Yeah,
we play street ball together.
Yeah, something along those lines. All right, that's our quarterback starts and our sits. Let's go to the running backs. AJ, I'll go to you because we just talked about your running back start of the week.
Yeah, and hopefully this does help. I went with David Montgomery for my start of the week. I know it's been single digits in 3 of the last 4 games, and Khalil Herbert's got in there. We just talked about this. The Lions defense, despite the Packers, has not been very good. They've allowed 13 plus points to 6 different fantasy receivers, including 4 or 5 that have scored more than 18 points. This is too favorable of a matchup. I think he's able to be the guy that you trust going into this to get enough volume. I think he's a guy that they may use near the goal line a little bit more. Hopefully, Justin Fields doesn't vulture too many of those on some bootlegs. But I think David Montgomery has a good chance to fall into the end zone today. And with them splitting reps against a team like this, that's all you really need for him to pay off to you. So I went with David Montgomery. This may be one of your last chances to really get something good out of him. Who knows?
Yeah, for me, it's Devin Singletary. Starts with a D as well. Devin Singletary, I think, is the perfect play today. You're going up against a Minnesota team who, let's be honest, we still question whether Minnesota is good defensively or not. I know they've been good this year at times. They're not bad against the running back position. They're actually top 6 or 7, but I think this is a game where Buffalo actually leans on the running game because of the Josh Allen injury. Devin Singletary still plays the most snaps, seeing 75% of the snaps. He still gets the touches. He's involved in the passing game. I think this is one of those Devin Singletary games. We saw it earlier this year. He had a 15-point game. He had a 25-point game against Miami on the road. I think this is another one of those games where Devin Singletary actually shines. So go put him in your RB2 flex position, and I think it'll reap rewards for you today.
There you go. There's your running back starts. Now you both double down as well on the you double down on the quarterback. You double down again on the running backs here for your sits. In what is it? Najee Harris. Both of you guys hate Najee Harris. Is just bad. Like that's just it right there. Like Najee Harris is just bad. Aaron, why is he your sit of the week?
Yeah, I just don't love anything about Najee Harris. I've been saying this since he got in the league, including the big year last year. I never thought he was explosive. He doesn't have any explosiveness in his body of work. Yes, he gets involved in the passing game a little bit, but I think you're going to start seeing more and more of Jaylen Warren as the season goes on. Maybe it's the injury. I think he is more Brian Robinson. If he doesn't score touchdowns, he's not as effective. He is yet to eclipse 80 yards this season on the ground. A lot of that has to do with the offensive line, but some of that's on him. He's just not explosive enough. And in the run game, with a bad offensive line and a team that can't really move the ball that well, with a young quarterback that they're going to force to throw the ball, most teams are playing 8 in the box. I just think there's better pieces out there. It's time to give up on that.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about the 80 yards. I mean, he's top 50 yards just once in the last entire month. 3.3 yards per attempt. The offensive line isn't hasn't been doing him any favors, and you'd expect a guy like that to come in and be able to take up on his own when the offense line doesn't help him. That just hasn't been the case. I second what you say about Jaylen Warren. I actually went ahead and was lucky enough to still pick him up in a couple leagues. And you've been talking about Jaylen Warren being a stash for weeks. Some people weren't listening to the Sac City because I got him in 3 leagues, including 2 of them today. So I'm with you. I would stay away from Najee. You've got to have a flex that you enjoy better and is worth the, if you want to call it, gamble.
Najee Harris or Jamal Williams?
Jamal.
Today?
Yeah, today.
They're the same player. Both need a touchdown to be relevant.
I still think it's Jamal Williams.
Najee Harris or A.J. Dillon?
They're all the same player. All 3 you're listing are touchdown dependent. But
Najee should have more volume as the starter.
They're very similar. But I think A.J. Dillon might have a good day if Aaron Jones is not 100% healthy. So, but I would probably lean Najee because of the volume. But I think they're all the same player. If they don't get into the end zone, they're going to be, I don't want to say basically useless, but basically
same thing goes for James Conner. James Conner, Najee Harris.
Yeah, very similar. I like James Conner a little bit more.
Okay. All right.
A little bit more than I do Najee.
That's our running back sits. It's Najee Harris. We're sitting him. We're starting up David Montgomery and Devin Singletary. AJ, let's turn our attention to the wide receiver position. Who is your start of the week as a pass catcher?
All right. From one sit from Alabama, now we'll go to a start in Alabama. And this is going to be your wide receiver from the Eagles, Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper. I think he's in line to have a good day on Monday night. The Commanders give 7 most fantasy points to the wide receivers, and 73% of the points they allow go to the wide receivers. Now, obviously, we know they've got a lot of potency on that offense with Philadelphia, with A.J. Brown and Miles Sanders. But the thing is, with A.J. Brown and the deep ball, the Commanders are pretty good at getting the deep ball. So the way to unleash that is to allow them to get loose underneath, which Smith has been pretty good at. I expect him to get a lot of quick hits, a lot of underneath routes, and let him utilize his after catch ability. So look for Devontae Smith to have a good production this week against the Commanders and fire him up.
Breaking news on the show. I don't mean to bury your start, AJ, but we are starting Devontae Smith. It's a great start. But we just got reports from Adam Schefter that Josh Allen is in fact starting today for the Buffalo Bills per a source. This is from Adam Schefter. This is not a fake Twitter account. Elon did not screw this one over. It is confirmed Adam Schefter, and it is Josh Allen starting today for the Buffalo Bills. He is in the lineup. So everything we've said, confidence in Josh Allen, confidence in Stephon Diggs, confidence all the way. You can start him. There you go. Josh Allen is your start for the Buffalo Bills. There you go. That probably made a lot of people happy right there. Unless you're playing against them, and then in that case, it didn't.
Definitely makes me happy. I got Josh Allen everywhere. So yeah, definitely makes me happy. And shout out to all the doctors that I listened to and told me that there's no chance Josh Allen was going to play for the next couple of weeks.
Oh wow.
Wow. This is why people on TikTok can't be taken seriously.
That's TikTok. Never trust TikTok doctors, Aaron. Never trust TikTok doctors. Aaron, your wide receiver start of the week is someone from a team that we've been talking a whole lot about.
Yeah, it's a lot of Chicago today. But why is it a lot of Chicago today? Well, because they're playing the Lions. Let's be honest here. Darnell Mooney is my start of the week. Back-to-back double-digit games, double digits in 3 of the last 4 weeks. We've seen the volume increase. He went 12, 6, 5, 8 targets, had 7 catches in 2 of the last 4 weeks. Before that, his highest catch total was 4. But this is a direct tribute to what Justin Fields has done. Now you get a nice matchup here. Justin Fields moving out of the pocket allows Darnell Mooney, which I think is at his best, is when Justin Fields is on the run. Darnell Mooney can find open holes in zone defenses. He can get those off-script plays and make plays happen. So Darnell Mooney is my start wide receiver of the week. I think he has another nice day here. With all the bye weeks, expect him to finish as a back-end wide receiver too. I think you're okay to start him.
Let's talk sits, AJ. This game that we've talked about a whole lot between the Buffalo Bills and the Minnesota Vikings. You've got a wide receiver that you're sitting from this matchup. Who is it?
Yeah, I'm fading Adam Thielen this week. Adam Thielen has always been always been someone you could call reliable to a point, would score touchdowns here and there. You look at last week at week 9, 3 catches for 67 yards on 7 targets, and he scored 1 touchdown his past 5 games. He got 2 on the season. What kind of worries me is TJ Hawkinson came in and right away 9 targets, 9 receptions. With this Buffalo Bills defense, I know I mentioned how banged up they are, but they've done pretty good in that middle of the field against tight ends. They've done pretty good in the field on the secondary receivers. I don't like this matchup for Adam Thielen. I feel even though the Bills can do what they do with the tight ends, you're going to see a lot of Justin Jefferson, a lot of Dalvin Cook, and a lot of TJ Hawkinson, despite what they're bringing to the table on defense. So I'm a little worried about Adam Thielen. I would fade him if you can. I think he's going to need a touchdown to have a good day, and that may not be the case. Muted. So much energy. Muted.
I hate coming after AJ, but I love it so much. I'm on the complete end of this, and this is not a shot at AJ because what he said was maybe factual as far as the numbers he threw out. I'm not going to check his numbers this time. I love Adam Thielen in this matchup. I think there's going to be a ton of attention paid by Buffalo to Justin Jefferson. And what does Buffalo do better than any team in the NFL is they force you to go down the field. They force you to go 8 across the middle, 5 on the outside, 7 across the middle. It's exactly what Adam Thielen is great at. I think this is, if there was any matchup that fits Adam Thielen's skill set in today's NFL, when he doesn't have the explosive he used to have, and Justin Jefferson being the guy that takes the top off the defense, or KJ Osborne, I think it's today, and I think it's Adam Thielen. I think Hawkinson also has a really good day here. I think it's Hawkinson. I think it's Thielen. I think it's Hawkinson. I think it's Thielen. I think Justin Jefferson is going to need a big play in order for him to really have that value. Now, let's not get crazy. You rate Justin Jefferson higher than everybody because it's Justin Jefferson, and he always has the ability to have a big day. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried for people that have Adam Thielen if you're sitting him on the bench today. I think this is one of those 9-catch, 85 yards, and if he gets into the end zone, now you're looking at a 25-point game instead of a 17-point game, which is solid in its own right for Adam Thielen. So, yes, I do think he's a mostly touchdown-dependent receiver. Today, I think he gets volume because of the type of ability he has in route running across the middle of the field, and Buffalo wanting to keep everything in front. Still no Tre'Davious White. Sign me up for some Adam Thielen. He might be one of my DFS plays.
Respect the opinion for sure. Great insight. I fear that if this is a day that Adam Thielen is a focus, that we're not having a good day from a lot of this offense. And that's no shot at Adam Thielen. We've seen what he's capable of for one of the older receivers, have been able to do it year in and year out. I just feel like the way that Kirk Cousins, find you somebody that looks at Justin Jefferson the way Kirk Cousins looks at you, the way Kirk Cousins looks at Justin Jefferson. And apparently TJ Hawkinson is vying for the side piece spot. So I guess we're going to have to see. I guess it'll be interesting to see which one of these receivers come out. But great insight. If you're right, we'll talk about it Tuesday, I guess.
So you got Thielen. You got against Thielen. I say Thielen. What are you looking at point total for Thielen? Let's just throw a number.
I
think he scores 15.
Okay. We're in his wheelhouse of the last 4 weeks, basically, without that bye. I think you're looking at something like 4 for 45, maybe 5 for 45. Something like that.
All right. Well, I'm good with that. 15-9. I'm going to go to my sit. My sit of the week is Michael Pittman. I just don't want any part of this Colts offense outside of Jonathan Taylor, Sam Ellinger. Unless Matt Ryan's back on the field, I don't trust Michael Pittman. Great player, good ability. I don't think he's very explosive like some of the other players that can do much without a quarterback that can get him the ball. And Sam Ellinger is not it. So Michael Pittman is my sit.
There you go. Good conversation there. So AJ, so we'll put this on the fake board that we have that we never follow up on. Double digits for Aaron for Thielen, not double digits for Adam Thielen is the bet right now for Adam Thielen versus the Bills. Your tight end sits though is an easy one. Your tight end, I know we go from starts to sits, but I just going from sits here to sits because both of you actually can agree on your sit. AJ, who is it?
It's Mike Gesicki. Did we just double down on everything this week?
Everything but your wide receiver sits. Yeah.
It worries me if I'm agreeing with AJ. No,
It's fine. It means you finally did get that rest and woke up and realized I know what the hell I'm talking about. So Mike Gesicki, man, and honestly, this, like you said, this is an easy one, you think, but Mike Gesicki's been one of those guys that you look at it and like, if you don't have options, you're just like, Mike Gesicki, I can roll him out. He'll probably get me some points and put him up on the board for me, but I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if there's been a more touchdown dependent tight end. Just to see him dance his fake gritty. And the Browns are one of the better defenses at tight ends. They only allowed one touchdown this season. That was to Hunter Henry. And honestly, they're going to be attacking the outsides with their receivers. And they're going to be attacking the middle of the field with whatever running back decides to be behind center. So I just feel like there's too much offense on this to allow Mike Gesicki too big of a role. Because we know it's tight end, if you can go another direction, try. Maybe Dulcich is still out there. Go pick him up. He's been a great addition to the Broncos.
Yeah, we're gonna move on because I agree, Mike Gesicki and Dulcich is my start of the week. So yeah, AJ said it all. We're good. Let's move on.
That's dope.
Great, fantastic. AJ, your start of the week.
Yeah, I haven't been able to say this name in a long. Cole Kmet. The first month of the season, you would have looked everywhere else, but over the last couple of weeks, he's really come along. All three of his touchdowns in the last two games. Last week, they featured him. They were finding ways to get him the ball, making sure he was a part of it. I know we've already talked about how much running game is to go around. I know we talk about the Darnell Moody's of the world, but I think Cole Kmet has a point to get into this offense and have himself a good day again against a bad Detroit defense. If we see 2 weeks in a row from a Detroit defense that just looks completely different, so be it. But I'll take the flash in the pan last week and believe we're going to go back to what we've seen all season from Detroit's defense, and Cole Kmet may be another beneficiary of that.
Yep. That does it for our starts and our sits. Let's get personal here, and so AJ, you just talked. So let's get personal. Aaron, you and I are going to step into the sleeper chamber.
And now for your sleeper of the week.
Who you got? Oh, shit, I forgot to get rid of AJ. Get out of here.
All right, for my sleeper of the week, I don't know if I wouldn't call this a sleeper, but I looked, he's only rostered in 49% of the leagues, started in only 24% of the leagues. It's Donovan Peoples-Jones. Donovan Peoples-Jones, good, nice matchup here. The Dolphins haven't been that great against wide receivers. They've actually allowed a lot more than what we've talked about all season. They're bottom half of the league, giving up nearly 29 points a game to wide receivers. No David Njoku. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 3 straight double-digit games. Last week, he was at double digits again, 12, 11, 11 over the last 3 weeks. Had double-digit games in 5 of 8 games this year. So I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is an excellent sleeper. Double digits again today. He scores you 10 or more. Go pick him up, put him in your lineup, and feel good about it.
You want to answer these 2 questions from Riley?
Sure.
Josh Palmer or Brandon Ayuk?
Ooh, tough. No Debo. I really like Brandon Ayuk. But Josh Palmer, I think, gets the volume today, and they're banged up in the 49ers secondary. I think Herbert's going to have to throw the ball. Give me Josh Palmer based on volume alone. Brandon Ayuk's not a bad play, though. That's a toss-up. They're both going to be mid-wide receiver 2s, in my opinion.
And you just had Greg Dulcich as your start tight end of the week, but does it? I know, like, sometimes that could change. Like, in terms of rankings, Greg Dulcich might be your great start of the week, but you might have Dalton Schultz higher. Riley asked, Dalton Schultz or Greg Dulcich?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go in this case with Dulcich. I think Dalton Schultz is a more safe play, but I think Greg Dulcich has been on fire. I think him in the connection with Russell Wilson is good, and Tennessee's back end is not very good. The Green Bay Packers are one of the better teams against the pass. I think the Cowboys are going to have to rely on the run, and I think Denver has to rely on the passing game today. I think that's good for Jarrett Jeudy. I think that's good for Cortland Sutton, and as a result, I think that's good for Greg Dulcich.
Oh, shit. Let's do it.
Let's talk Streaming D.
Yes, sir. Streaming D is what we're here about. All right. I know last week I wasn't here to talk to you guys about the defenses, which means you probably started a really good one and won your matchups. But I don't have to start today with an apology.
It's a clean slate.
Yeah. All right. So to start this week, I normally give you an honorable mention and I normally give you my start of the week. I'm not going to give you an honorable mention this week because my start of the week is a full ass game. That is right. I am making up for last week. I love the defensive battle that will go on between the New Orleans Saints and the Pittsburgh Steelers. 5 weeks in, Kenny Pickett, that's the guy you want to go against if you can at defense. 2 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 2.5 sacks per game. That's going to be something that this New Orleans Saints, who have been trending in the right direction on defense, can play up on. I really like what they're going to be able to do here. They've had multiple sacks in every game except week 1, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think I am. Week 2. There we go. And then on the other side of the ball, the Pittsburgh Steelers are getting back T.J. Watt and the safety DeMonte Casey. Now, if they also had Minkah Fitzpatrick, I feel like I would have just took them outright. But Minkah Fitzpatrick is a big loss. But T.J. Watt is enough to transform that entire defense. And it's not often that you can say that about one player on one side of the ball. What he allows that defense to do in the middle of the field and the back end is literally extraordinary. So with him back, I think Andy Dalton may find himself a hard day. Alvin Kamara may, get touched up a little bit. It's still Alvin Kamara. So if you're streaming defenses and one of these is taken, feel free to ride up with the other one. I think you'll find yourself in a good day. Saints, Steelers, great defensive game. Ride it out.
Let's draft.
What are you talking about? Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what?
Brian, don't!
Well, a bird, bird, bird. A bird, a word, well, a bird, bird, bird. A bird, a word, well, a bird, bird, bird.
It is now time for our Draft King Showdown. This is where we draft our DFS lineups for the Sunday, Monday action. I won last week. I get to decide the order here. I will say, I will say AJ, Aaron, me. That's the order. AJ, kick us off.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I'm going to take a running back that I really enjoy this week. I'm not going to play around here. Saquon Barkley. First pick, take him off the board for you guys.
There you go. Aaron?
Christian McCaffrey, not even close. Playing the Chargers. I don't know how that's not the number 1 pick.
I will go back-to-back here, and I will go with Justin Fields against Detroit, and I will go with Travis Kelce against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, look at you doing big things.
Oh, all right. All right.
I didn't know who I was taking next. I am taking the Arizona Cardinals defense.
That's a great pick. It's a great pick.
It's a good way to buy yourself some time to find some actual pieces. I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my other running back and give me his name is Dameon Pierce. What's his name? Bainbridge stand up? Is that what we're talking about? No,
not anymore. Not that you're ill.
Oh no.
Yeah. Gross. You're an asshole. Tight end, give me I'm gonna spend down here. I think he has the potential to have a good day. Give me Evan Ingram at the tight end position.
David Montgomery against Detroit.
I will go with give me Juju Smith-Schuster, and I'll go with Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'll go with your sleeper, Aaron. I'm gonna take that one.
Okay.
Ezekiel Elliott is out. Confirmed. Jay Glazer out. Out Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, well, he doesn't get to confirm that until I see inactives. No, I'm just playing. I will take Tyreek Hill. With all those other receivers having some question marks about quarterbacks and things like that, I'm going to take the top receiver in the game and Tyreek Hill.
Okay. Into my receivers here, I'm going to go with Chris Olave. Going on the Saints side of things, and then give me Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm gonna save some money again.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be a good player.
Nope. No, you're not gonna go with Donovan Peoples-Jones. I already took him.
I missed that. Well, that sucks. All right, off the board. Give me Jerry Jeudy. I think he has a good day against Tennessee today.
Is that both your picks?
Yes, Chris Olave, Jerry Jeudy.
All right, I am going to take. You know who I didn't see if it was out was Matt Milano. Was he playing or no?
Damn. I did not see if he was playing or not.
Damn it! That's a big deal for me. I'll go with my tight end. I'll go with Greg Dulcich.
Okay. I will go with Give me the Steelers defense. TJ Watt coming back. Hope for the best there. And then give me Kareem Hunt against the Dolphins.
All right.
It's not your pick, man.
Good, perfect. I'm glad because I wasn't ready.
All right, I'm gonna go with my guy. I'm gonna trust. I'm gonna go with Josh Palmer again. I think the volume is too much. He'll see enough targets and he'll have a good day.
All right. Give me Devontae Smith at my receiver position. And this is going to be gross, but I'm going to do it anyways. I need money. So Jared Goff at QB. Maybe he'll one of the JGs.
Wasn't that was Aaron's start of the week?
How come you didn't take Jimmy Garoppolo?
Because I need money. Because I need money.
Are they the same? What's the price
expensive
difference?
This week? I wanted Jimmy G over that, but it is what it is.
Asshole.
Yeah, I feel that way too, man. I feel that way too.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, man. I don't know where I'm going, Vinny.
That's fine. You do.
He just took my quarterback.
Hey, you go with Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, if I said Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be turd burgers.
Well,
but he's not.
But he is. All right, you know what? I'm going to go with I'm going to go gangsta. I'm going to go Kenny Pickett.
I'm going to go gangsta.
You trying to hurt Kenny Pickett, bro?
I will go with give me Jonathan Taylor. And give me that wide receiver that Kenny Pickett's throwing to, George Pickens.
Oh, so cool.
I've got to save some money here at places, to be completely honest.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go Nico Collins for Houston.
All right.
Shit.
My last two picks, I think it is. Give me Dallas Goedert. And because I have no other choice, the Vikings defense. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, this whole roster for a lot is throw up.
Okay, I'm taking Zay Jones. That's my final pick.
I will go with Wan'Dale Robinson, and that will be my final pick. My team looks like Justin Fields, Kareem Hunt, Jonathan Taylor, Donovan Peoples-Jones, George Pickens, Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelce, Wan'Dale Robinson, and I have the Steelers defense. Aaron, what do you got?
Have somebody else do it first.
Well, seeing as I'm the only other person,
Yep.
my team looks like Jared Goff, Saquon Barkley, Damian Pierce, Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Evan Ingram, Dallas Goedert, and the Vikings defense. I am fucking doing good.
AJ didn't want to win this week. AJ was like,
I don't know what happened. It felt
10.
so good when I
Week
started,
10.
and then, oh, man. Holy shit.
Sorry, the reason I was doing that is because I had Zeke in some lineups in there in filler spots, and I had to go change some of my lineups.
Oh, shit.
Is that a 1 o'clock game?
Yeah.
No, but I had to put somebody in for him in my flex positions.
Gotcha.
And there's a lot of 10 o'clock games, so I had to make sure I did that. See, I be thinking.
This man's still on the West Coast.
Yeah, I didn't set any of my lineups.
Shut up.
That's just stupid.
I didn't set any of my lineups. This is a problem. I have a minute. Can someone go? Jesus Christ.
Where are we going?
Wait, Aaron, did you say your team?
No, I was still setting lineups. I was still setting lineups. Help! It's on fire.
I hope my lineups are set. I looked them over enough times, I guess.
My lineup is as set as it's going to get. Hopefully, hopefully I got okay. All right. So.
No, I missed it. Damn it. I went to one league. Son of a bitch. It's really on me. It's my fault.
Okay. Let me end this so we can go watch some football, guys. My DraftKings lineup, I have no idea what I did. As a matter of fact, it won't even allow me to look at my lineup.
Oh, no. You're kidding.
It won't allow me to look at it.
Contest has already started.
Wait, you didn't submit?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
AJ, you're a loser, bro. All right. Anyways, my lineup is Kenny Pickett, Tyreek Hill, Kenny Pickett, Christian McCaffrey, David Montgomery, Tyreek Hill, Josh Palmer, Nico Collins, Greg Dulcich, Zay
Where's
Jones,
my
and
lineup?
Cardinals defense.
Did you not submit either?
I did.
No, it's because it hasn't started yet. You have to click on when you're on your My Contest, click on lineups.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything.
Then you didn't submit it.
But I did. I know I did. I saved it. I was literally part of my spiel to close was make sure you submit your shit because I submitted mine.
Vinny, it says two people. It says two people are in. So
I'm done with DraftKings.
Your
I'm
lineup's
done with-
in there somewhere because it says two people are in. If AJ didn't get his in.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. All right. Well, that does it for another episode of Pigskin and Pancakes. Enjoy your Sundays. We'll be back again live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, for Aaron Mukes, I am me. We will see you tomorrow.
Oh.